Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Courageous Curiosity Podcast. I'm Superintendent Ben Mainka here today with three incredible educators here for our school district. And one of the cool things that we do this time of year is it's the springtime. And so we end up hiring a lot of times new teachers, new people that are coming into the school district, just the time that people start to look at the fall and what they would want to do, where they'd want to teach. And so we end up bringing people here. But a lot of times the question is, what is it like to be a teacher for the first time? What is it like to be in Novi for the first time as a teacher? And we want to try and get the perspective of three of our teachers who just are wrapping up their first year in Novi. And they all have very cool and unique stories. So we're excited to kind of get to know them. So I'm going to let each of our people share a little bit about themselves. And we're going to start, Abby, with you.
Okay. I'm Abby. This is obviously my first year teaching in Novi.
Yeah.
I went to Michigan State, so got my education from there, and then I taught in a neighboring district, and now I teach third grade at Orchard Hills, and I love it.
That's amazing. So second year teaching, first year in Novi,
Yep.
and you're a Sparty.
Yes,
All
go
right.
green.
Go green, huh? All right.
Logan Pawloski. This is technically 1.5. I was
Yeah.
at Meadows last year.
Yeah.
But I'm from Traverse City, so how I ended up down here, my wife is actually a Novi grad, current teacher at Deerfield.
Yeah.
She was on a podcast with you.
Yeah. She's got a long history here.
The first season, yep.
Yeah, we got to see your better half before you.
Yes, certainly my better half. But I teach U.S. history. I coach varsity football, varsity track, middle school basketball, and I absolutely love what I do in this district.
Yeah, well, we love what you do too, and we're so impressed that you've just kind of jumped in with both feet, and you have so much impact in so many different areas. It's really, really cool to see. So thank you for everything you're doing, and we're super lucky to have you, Logan. So next we want to hear from Mridula.
Hi, I'm Mridula Nanda. I have a PhD in physics. I started substituting for Novi Community School District in the year 2022, April. And this is the only school district where I substituted.
Okay.
And then it was last year, end of the summer, I got a call from Carolyn Miller, the secretary back at that time.
Mm-hmm.
She called me and she said, she knew that I have a science background. And she asked me, will you be able to teach high school physics? Because we are in the middle of a hiring process. And you had to do it until we find someone. I said, why not? It's physics. Though I knew that I didn't have any education background back at that time.
Mm.
So I said yes, because during my PhD, I learned one thing. If you're passionate about something, you're going to figure out how things work.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, and I started as the long-term science teacher in the Novi High School, and without access to anything.
Wow.
On the very first day, I just received one text message from Mr. Brian Langley.
Mm-hmm.
If you need anything, do let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Till today, he's the person I reach out to every time I stumble upon something. It doesn't matter how big or small it is.
Sure.
And now I'm here teaching physics and chemistry as a Novi teacher.
That's amazing.
And it's been an incredible journey for me.
Yeah, well, we're so grateful to have you, and I love the kind of non-traditional way that all of this happened, and I'm really excited to hear more about your story. It's very, very inspiring, so thank you for being here. So I think to kind of kick things off for everybody, I'd really like to kind of understand a little bit about your first year and maybe some highlights. So as you wind down the first year in the district, if you could pick one thing that you would point to and say, that was a highlight for me, that was just a really incredible moment that we had, does anybody have anything that stands out to them?
I feel like this is like before the school year even started, the elementary schools have Meet the Teacher Night.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a chance for the parents to come in and the students to come in and see where they're going to be for the rest of the year, and they get to drop off some supplies, meet the teacher. And I remember being so incredibly nervous. Like, I was like, this is a new community, a new school. And the second that my parents started walking in and the students started walking in, it was such a warm welcome. And the students were so excited and the parents were so excited to meet me. It made me just as excited to start the school year. So even before the school year started, I feel like that sticks out to me as like just how welcoming it was to be here, and it kind of took the nerves away.
Great first impression.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. What about you, Logan?
I'm going to go back technically a year and a half ago.
Sure.
I don't coach Unified. We have some wonderful coaches that run our Unified program. But I have probably one of my favorite memories of all time. It was a Unified basketball game in between the girls and boys varsity games. We actually ended up winning on a last-second buzzer beater, but it wasn't the shot that I remember. It was the reaction by our student section and just the support that they had for our Unified kids, and that was a really proud moment early on in my career in the district.
It's great. Yeah, there's so much pride for all of our children, and they support each other as well. Mridula, do you have any things that stick out to you as maybe a favorite memory in your first year here?
It was obviously every time a kid comes to me and says, I like your class. It's like, this is one class which I don't need to study at home. And then I enjoy the parent-teachers conferences. How supportive our parents are. I mean, and this is not only this year, but if you ask me, when did you decide that you are going to join this school district? It was my first parent-teacher conference. I was nervous. But then most of them attended that conference just to let me know how much their kids love me. And they were like, why isn't the district hiring you? And what can we do for you so that they keep you? And I was so amazed, and I was very emotional at that time. I shared my experience with Mr. Kane, and he asked me the same question. Yes, why aren't you joining us? And I was like, I want to. I just don't know how. That day was the best day of my life. And back this year, those first-year students of mine, they kept checking throughout the summer because I'm a Novi resident. So this year when I joined, a couple of them texted me, are you in the building? Are you still teaching? Because I don't see you in your old room. And I'm like, yes, I'm still teaching. I got moved to this room. They came to congratulate me.
Oh, that's so cool.
And I was like, I'm here because of them. And I will be here for them.
That's wonderful. I love that. Yeah, it's all three of you are talking about, ways that you felt welcomed in. And I think that that's a huge part, especially in your first year, because, there's a lot to learn. And it's not just about the teaching. You're all very accomplished professionals, but it's really about, who the people are, right? And building those connections and those relationships. Maybe talk for a second a little bit about the onboarding process. That's something that I know that we are looking to improve all the time. We have things that need to be improved for sure. But talk about maybe the support you felt in your first year from colleagues, from other staff, from administrators as you kind of joined the team.
I learned that it takes an entire community to work together to build up this kind of space where everyone feels like they're being seen, they're being heard, they're valued. Novi is that kind of a community. And I am here just because each and every person in this district helped me. Be it the teachers, administrators, the HR team, everyone tried their best to onboard me, to get me prepared for this. I learned one thing. Knowing the content area is different, but teaching is it's a whole different thing. And for a person like me coming from a different place, whose entire education is from a different country, it takes a lot of time and effort to understand the hiring process. And the most important thing is they want to hire me, but I need to do something for that. I need to get prepared for that. I need to do the pre-certification courses. I need to learn everything about education. And the district helped me with that. Mr. Kane introduced me to Mr. Dinkelman. Mr. Dinkelman helped me to understand the alternate route to teaching certification. Then my colleagues, my wonderful physics and chemistry colleagues, they are helping me every day because they know I'm not only teaching full time, I am doing my teaching certification courses parallelly.
Sure.
My evenings are full too. And that is another thing I do share with my students. Don't feel like you have too much on your plate. The person who is teaching you is equally full. So we are together.
Yeah.
I will teach you science, and you will teach me how to be a good teacher.
Yeah.
And it's a mutual encouragement process.
Yeah.
And I must admit it today, this journey wouldn't have been possible without the incredible support I received from everyone in this district, including my family and my students. They have a very special kind of.
Yeah, absolutely they do. Well, you can understand why. Your passion is kind of infectious, so we love that. What do you think about the onboarding process? I know, Logan, this is your first district, to work in, but, you touch so many different areas. So talk a little bit about how you got support this year with the coaching, with the mentoring, with all the things that you're doing.
You mentioned at the beginning it goes back to people, and listening to her talk. You mentioned family. I was going to jump in and say this is all one big Novi family. So from day one, I really felt like people had my back. And you think about the resources that we're so lucky to have in this district, and everything you need as a new teacher, it's right there, and you just have to grab on and utilize everything you can. And there's plenty of people in this district that will do whatever they can for you as a new teacher. But I think being a coach helps a lot too. I started coaching in the district before I started teaching, so there's a lot of kids that I've established relationships with, and it was very cool this year being back at the high school. Hey, Coach P, I didn't know you were teaching here. So it's a special place.
That's really cool.
Yep.
And it's probably unique to being at Meadows last year, now being at the high school where a lot of your athletes are going to school, so they have an opportunity to see you during the day. And as a former coach myself, I think that was a huge benefit, right? Yeah, that's awesome. What about you, Abby?
So I feel like mine was a bit more maybe traditional, like going through the interview process, like how teachers are doing it right now in the spring. So went through the interview process, and then I was actually out of the country when Novi had their new teacher kind of welcome back. They took them on the tour of the schools. But the HR department still worked with me and let me come in to the ESC and kind of see how everything works. They gave me everyone's phone number that I could possibly need. And then even being at Orchard Hills, we have a resource sheet that is brand new this year that the teachers helped create for new teachers. And it even has pictures of the people that you're supposed to be looking for, because there's so many people. And in Novi too, there's so many people here to support you and help you. We have our coaches and our grade level cows. And so kind of learning those names and just figuring out who to ask. There's so many people here that have been so supportive, answered every single question I could ever have. So it's been wonderful. The support here is tremendous.
I love that. And I know that there are a lot of great school districts, including ones that, are neighboring schools and partner schools and things like that. But Abby, you have this unique ability to have been able to see over your 2 years of teaching 2 different systems. So what would you say, would highlight, something that we're doing really well for somebody that may be looking to compare? There's going to be teachers looking at, hey, I might be going to Novi, I may be going somewhere else. What led you to choose Novi versus, whether it's staying where you were or doing something in a different place?
Yeah, so I grew up in Farmington Hills, so pretty close. I was familiar with the Novi community kind of growing up and knowing that education is a huge thing that's valued here, and I'm an educator that also wants to support that. So my neighboring district is actually extremely close, but there's a lot of things that are different that Novi does here that's really great. I think one of the most unique things is at the elementary level, we all have the same schedule. So whether you walk into Parkview or Deerfield or Orchard Hills, at 9:15, every single third grade teacher is teaching math. And so that lends us to that we also all have the same planning time. So during our planning time, we can hop on a Zoom with the teachers at Parkview and kind of navigate our new reading and writing curriculum that we're going through. So that is very unique. At my old district, it was kind of just your school and you partnered with your school, and that was great. But Novi really has a very strong way of forming, this is a district, we are a community, and you're going to get the same education no matter what elementary school you're at. So that's something that's really great.
I think it's also an interesting point you bring up. We do have 5 elementary schools, but each of our elementary schools are still Wildcats, right?
Yes.
So it's not like there's a Roadrunners and a Tigers and a this. There, we are truly kind of one, Wildcat family, which is exemplified even in the teaching and learning structures that you're describing as well. Mridula, I'd be remiss if I didn't, just ask. You have a PhD in physics, and you could be doing a lot of things. We are the beneficiary of you choosing to come and work here. Talk a little bit about the dynamics of teaching physics, and you obviously have a tremendous amount of knowledge, but you mentioned going to school and getting your teacher certification while you're still teaching, and you kind of described a little bit about that, but talk a little bit about how the challenges of that, how you've had to overcome some of those challenges, because I don't think there's a lot of people that could do that.
I think, as I told you, you have to be passionate about something. And while I was doing my PhD, I knew one thing. Like, if you ask me what will be my best career, I will continue my research work. But if you ask me, whom do you want to teach? I want to teach these high school kids. I like the curiosity they have. And in my class, I always tell them, we are in a science class. We are not learning about what. We are learning about whys and hows. And this is something not only about science, this is about life. You will not get everything ready for you. So prepare yourself for the challenges. And I'm an example how to accept the challenges, how to embrace it. And if you like it, like I always wanted to be an educator. And I always feel connected with this age group whom I'm teaching, because I feel like once we are out of our high school boundaries, we know what we want to do. But this is that age where we are like, do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? And I feel like as a physicist, it is my responsibility, because science is everywhere in our life, every day. So I need to motivate my students, like use a different lens to look at the world around you. Be curious about what is happening around you. And then I meet students and parents, and they are saying, I never thought my kid is thinking about a science career.
Yeah.
That is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Parallelly to my research. And then I moved here after completing my PhD. There were some things like I had to wait for 6 years to get my work permit. Then there were 2 years of lockdown because of the COVID. And then I was like, when will I do? When will I start? And then I was in a different country without any knowledge about how to get into the education system. And somebody told me, why don't you start as a substitute teacher? And that's what I did. And the more I get along with my student, the more I realized this is what I want to do. And it is difficult. It is extremely difficult. Think about those students whom I introduced on the first day, like, I'm going to be your science teacher, substitute science teacher. I can see the frustration in their face. Starting a year with a substitute teacher, not knowing how long she's going to be here. And then in 1.5 months, the entire picture changed. And they started asking me, did they hire you? Are you going to be here? What if we don't like the new teacher?
I love it.
So it's like every time I felt overwhelmed, like as I said, full-time teaching, learning about education, doing grading, and then every evening go back, Zoom lesson, 6 to 9, turn in your assignment, grade their papers, give them feedback. It's overwhelming, but I close my eyes, I think about my students. Miss Nanda, you can do it. You can do anything. And I know I have to do it for them.
Yeah, in your describing, I think something that's those of us that have been in other places, our children do come with a tremendous amount of curiosity and support, and they're pulling for their teachers. You know, they really are, and that is a unique thing, I think, in our school district, in our community, and we're so lucky and fortunate to have the support of families, students, and within our colleagues and our staff. So I want to give each of you an opportunity to maybe just highlight if, you know, you shared a little bit about your backgrounds and your first year, but if you're talking to maybe a prospective teacher who's gonna look in the next, you know, month or so at job postings that come out, and they're going to be considering Novi versus all of the other potential places they could go, what would you tell that prospective, person that's looking at Novi as we kind of wrap up? Abby, we'll start with you.
Okay. Well, I would tell them to highly consider Novi. I have loved it here. I think hearing from all of us, too, we've all had very positive experiences here. One thing that I would consider is that educators, and we can probably all attest to this, we love to learn as well. We foster that love for learning inside of our classroom, and we love to do it as well. And that's something that Novi does also really well, is that they give us opportunities for educators, as you've mentioned too. They help us keep growing and keep learning and keep developing our profession with the professional developments and the coaches and the opportunities. So that's something that's also unique to Novi, and I feel like every educator would absolutely love that. So
Awesome.
I'll echo that. When I was hired, principal at Meadows, John Bricky, he said, "Hey, welcome aboard. Don't be afraid to grow." So kind of on that same topic, this is a place where the standards are high, and people want to teach at a high level. Students want to learn at a high level, and we're all there supporting each other. So don't be afraid to grow.
I love that. Love that.
I will say Novi Community School District is one of the most diverse community in Michigan. And it's, if you are passionate about teaching and if you want to make a difference, please join us, because you will get incredible students here. They are kind, they are respectful, they are incredibly talented, and you will never feel like I have been left alone. There is a team waiting for you to back you up any day, any moment, if you need anything from them. So if you want to be an educator, Novi is the place for you.
I love that. The three of you are inspiring. I feel better. This has been the highlight of my day and will be for the rest of the day, just looking at my schedule. So I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to sit with you. And I think for anybody watching this, the three of you are authentic. You're great representation and reflection of the incredible staff that we have here. And thank you for choosing to come here and just offer your skills and talents. We are all better because of the three of you, and we're grateful for what you're putting in every day. And I would like to just say that if you're watching this by chance and you're thinking about considering Novi Community School District, we are a great place, and we would love to have you join us as well. So with that, we hope all of you stay curious. We hope all of you have a wonderful week, and go Wildcats.